Okay, thanks everyone for coming today to remember Mom. She'd be so happy to see your friends and family together. Nothing made her happier than seeing the ones she loved together. She wouldn't have been thrilled about being the center of attention, but she would have got over it and had a good time. You may have noticed that Brian and I, and you'll see Dawn, were wearing red plaid ties. It's not a new fashion statement, don't go rush out and buy a plaid tie. It's Mom's tartan, the Wallace tartan, and the runner at the front is that as well, so just a tribute to Mom that way. It's hard to figure out what to say about Mom. There's so many things, and I still have a lot to say, but I did shorten it somewhat because I wrote down some of the stories that Mom told me as she grew up about her life growing up on the farm and so forth, and I printed that out, and at the end, it'll be at the back of the church, so you can take it and have a read while you're waiting for your coffee or whatever. Okay, so that's that. Mom always said she didn't want people moping around at her funeral and pretending she was a saint and so forth. She wouldn't have wanted to be a saint because that wasn't enough fun, I don't think. She loved to have fun. So she wasn't a saint, but she was amazing. She grew up on a 160-acre farm in Saskatchewan, the Pioneer Homestead. That was land that was given to her father. So the settlers had to clear and break the land. And they grew up 6 kids in a 2-bedroom farmhouse without running water or electricity, using a wood-cooked stove, kerosene lights. Their only means of transportation until the late 40s was horse and wagon. So there's many things they didn't have, but they always had a close, loving family. Firstborn in her family was her brother Bill, followed by the 4 girls, and Mom was the youngest of the 4. Possibly because there was a shortage of boys in the family, there was no distinction between boys' work and girls' work. It was just work, whoever was there did the work. So she had a sense of equality well before it became fashionable. She learned to work hard, found she could generally do way more than she thought, and enjoyed the sense of accomplishment from pushing herself. Her sense of independence and the attitude of "I can do it" carried her through life. The most obvious example was when she was 29 and recovered from heart surgery. In the years that followed, no one would ever have known that Mom had a heart condition. She did more than any mother ever that I knew. And there's plenty of smaller examples as well. When we first moved to Montreal, my brothers and our friends, we wanted to go tobogganing down on Mount Royal. And we lived on the West Island, so that's not an easy thing to do. But we were new to the city, we wanted to do it. Most moms would have said, "Are you crazy? I'm not driving all the way downtown, I don't know the city, if I get lost, I don't speak French," all sorts of reasons not to do it. But she's kind of, okay, let's get out a map, make a plan, and sure enough, off we went. We had a great day doing that. Also, when we were in Montreal, we took up skiing, and Mom quickly said, "There's no way I'm sitting in the chalet missing the fun. I'm going to learn to ski too." So she got her old equipment out, and she taught herself to ski, and pretty soon she was skiing with us just as well as us. And then she went a step further. She organized the women on the street into a ladies' ski group, so they went skiing every Wednesday. No matter what, Mom seemed to be the one that got things organized, whether it was golfing, cross-country skiing, downhill skiing, bridge. Mom would organize it. She was also the go-to mom on the street. If anybody on the street had a problem or needed advice, it was Mom that they went to. How to plant a garden, how to bake buns, how to get your kid to do what they're supposed to do. Mom was the common sense person that could help them figure it out. And in terms of kids, if someone's mom was too busy, kids would come over to visit Mrs. Miller, because she'd have time for them, and probably cookies too. Mom could do all sorts of things. She could sew curtains, although she hated sewing. She could paddle a canoe. She could build a fence. She could wallpaper. She could make a fantastic meal, change a car tire, paint a picture, throw a softball harder than anybody I knew. So she had lots of skills, and that her skills kept expanding. As we built the cottage, Mom worked side by side with us, plus looked after us. She mixed hundreds of batches of cement, hammered thousands of nails, helped shingle the roof, put up siding, anything we did, she did and more. I remember her once using a winch to lower a boat into the water, and the safety latch on the winch slipped. The crank spun out of control, smashed her finger, and broke her finger. It was clearly misaligned, and I remember saying, "Mom, we need to go into town to get that fixed." And she says, "No, I got people here, I'm busy, I don't have time for that." So she wrapped it in ice, and when it was good and cold, she reset it herself. And a few days later, when she did go back to town, she went to the doctor, and he said, "Oh, you've done a perfect job, it's set perfectly." That was just the sort of person she was. Mom she was smart, she was efficient, she was organized. She worked at the YMCA part-time in Montreal, and every summer she would quit, and every fall they'd hire her back, because I think in 10 months she did what everybody else would do in 12. And same thing when she worked at the Heart and Stroke. I remember her sharing her performance reviews with me, and they were glowing. I wish I could have had performance reviews like that. Mom enjoyed people. Family and friends were so important. If you're lucky enough to be considered one of her friends, you had a friend for life. And when Mom and her sisters got together, it was sheer joy. They would get up to all sorts of pranks and tricks that my brothers and I would never dream of doing. And they were adults, when they were doing these things. If one of the sisters was out of the room for too long, the others would start to worry what they were up to. Perhaps that's the reason they traveled in a pack. But truthfully, I think they just enjoyed each other. She was equally joyful around friends. One year when I was home, I bought a new car, and I had a plane ticket to go back to Saskatchewan, and Mom, of course, said, "Well, don't worry, I'll drive your car up to Saskatchewan for you." And normally when she came to Saskatchewan, it was for a family gathering, and she wouldn't have time to see her friends, but this time, just being her, she had a chance to spend time with her friends. And I can remember sitting back and watching, and the years just rolled away, and they were 13-year-old girls sitting and laughing and giggling. It was just amazing to watch. Mom was always young at heart, and she maintained that youthfulness right to the end. I'll never remember her as old. And surpassing all else was her love for family. She thought the world for 3 sons and granddaughters. It wasn't that blind, "Oh, my kid is perfect" sort of love, though. If you needed to be called out for something, she did it. But you knew it was from a place of love, and it was for your own good. At times we may not have appreciated the guidance, but over the years, I can't tell you how many times I've been with people and I've thought to myself, "I can't believe your mother didn't teach you this." And I thank my mom for taking the time always to teach us, because it wasn't the easy thing to do, but it was the right thing. Mom loved to be involved in any activities that we were doing. When I do a charity bike ride, she'd be there to see me off in the morning. She and Dad would come and watch my curling teams play. And after playing, my teammates would say, "So what did your mom say? Are we getting any better?" My mom was kind of our coach almost. They'd come out and watch my rowing regattas and talk with my rowing crew. Or sometimes they'd just hang out with my friends. Everybody enjoyed them. Mom just wanted to be part of whatever I did. When I went on a trip, she'd usually be at the airport to greet me, just so she'd be the first to hear about whatever I did. So I've talked about many of Mom's qualities, but I'd be remiss if I didn't mention her sense of style. She didn't wear much makeup, but she did always have her lipstick with her. I can remember a few years back, she had a slight stroke at the cottage, and I remember saying, "Mom, we need to go into Kingston." And she's kind of, "Well, I can't go like this, I've got to get changed." And so she did that, and then as we're rushing into Kingston, on the dirt road, I look over, and there she is putting on her lipstick. She was probably the best dressed stroke patient in the hospital. She liked to look good, and she did. She was comfortable in barefoot in shorts or in heels and a dress. One thing I remember was her never-ending search for the perfect winter coat. And I think I've inherited that. I'm always searching for the perfect winter coat. Every coat she bought was not quite right. Finally, in Montreal, she had a coat made for her. It was warm, it was stylish, it was elegant, it was classy, it was one of a kind, it quietly stood out, it could stand the test of time. It was Mom. And the clothing front, Mom could be hard on her clothes too. I remember in Montreal, she used to always like to perch on the the oven door. She'd open the oven door after dinner and perch on the front of the door. And there was a number of her clothes had singe marks across the back. And it could have been that the polyester clothes of the 70s didn't stand up to heat well, or it was possibly her way of getting rid of clothes she was tired of. Mom and I had a special bond. We always seemed to know and understand how and what the other person was thinking. So many times when I would phone, she would pick up the phone and say, "Oh, I was just about to call you." Mom and I were just always on the same wavelength and could work together as one. It was a joy to be able to help and support each other over the years. As a kid, it's probably debatable as to how much help I was, but I felt useful, and it laid the groundwork for a future close bond. I think my bond to her was very similar to the bond she had with her father, but she only had that experience for 18 years, whereas I was so lucky to have my mom for 60. So thank you, Mom, for all your love, all you did, and for molding us into what we are today. In Mom's final few days, I found myself reciting a variation of the bedtime prayer Mom taught us as children. Now her light has gone away. Savior, listen while I pray, asking you to watch in peace and to send Mom quiet sleep. Sleep well, Mom. You'll always love her.